The desire flourishes in prohibition. The know of the other is desire's horizon. The lover's restraint is the lover's proof. Seduction is negation's theater. Every no carries the echo of an ancient yes. Every absence is a form of attendance. Every repression preserves what it forbids. The self is a forta da machine repeating its negations into history. And disappointment, lordly, ironic, enduring, is the crown worn by all who have survived the truth. All emotion is care discovering its object. To feel is to invest in something that can be lost. Care is the tether that keeps being from falling into indifference. The child's first emotion is the protest of dependence. Every passion is a mode of preservation. What can be present can be absent. What can appear can vanish. Thus, there are two mothers, the appearing and the disappearing, and a third mother, the not mother, who teaches what difference means. The child learns ontology by counting absences. The first metaphysics is maternal. There is the child in the mother's arms and the child in her absence. Each is a separate self, yet both call themselves I. Personality begins as double exposure. Every self contains its own version who waits. The ego is a collage of presence and absence under revision. To get better is to get better at missing. Healing begins as a refinement of loss. Endurance becomes skill. The mature soul knows how to absent without despair. Mastery is patience eroticized. The child is a small empiricist experimenting with grief. The mind invents games to make dependence tolerable. The first philosophy is coping. Suffering becomes instructive only when repeated voluntarily. Play is the domestication of pain. Gone in there are the two poles of creation. Every art begins in this oscillation. The toy thrown away is the first symbol. Language is a reel tied to an invisible mother. Thought itself is the movement of Forta. The child enjoys the reenactment of loss because its ownership of sorrow converts suffering into pleasure. The aesthetic is born at the conversion point. Every artwork is a controlled disaster. Beauty is the permission to re-experience pain safely. To repeat a wound is to master it symbolically. Repetition is agency disguised as obsession. The self becomes author by rehearsing what overpowers it. Every ritual is an act of revenge transfigured. Civilization begins with the renunciation of immediacy. Instinct is refined into ritual, appetite into timing. To wait is the highest cultural act. Renunciation is the first grammar of relation. The price of maturity is delayed satisfaction. Psychoanalysis studies the absent as it were present. Words are shadows pretending to be flesh. Language is the materialization of lack. All representation is an elegy in disguise. Pleasure is the child's way of not dying of dependency. Joy is the mask of fear properly worn. Every enjoyment is built over a fault line of panic. The pleasure principle is a defense mechanism. Euphoria is organized absence. The stranger is not emptiness but substitution. What replaces the mother is not neutral, it glows with prohibition. The not mother is the first metaphor. Every relationship thereafter is a translation of this absence. To love is to survive the mother in another form. What we call play averts the catastrophe of nothingness. The real saves the child from chaos. The game is civilization's smallest unit. Art is an organized refusal of nihilism. To keep something in play is to keep oneself alive. Caring is the return of presence after fear. Emotion is the technology by which absence becomes bearable. To love is to say da after fort. Every act of care reenacts creation out of loss. And the reel spins eternally between gone and there, between death and art, between the cry of need and the whisper of return. The greatest the attachment, the less it can be explained. Love and thought share the same opacity. Every concept is a person one refuses to abandon. A ties is curiosity. What we cannot explain, we enact. What we cannot explain, we enact. The child's first creation is mastery over helplessness. To invent control. To invent control is to mitigate dependence. Mastery is the style of survival. Selfhood begins as a defense against love. To master desire is to fear its depth. The mind's first rebellion against disillusionment. To hope again is the American instinct of the soul. Catastrophe, disillusionment is the death of play. Resilience is the faith that returns when reason collapses. To lose all hope and find some more is the method of history. Mastery may only make you better at mastery. Control breeds repetition, not transcendence. Every empire of control ends in bureaucracy of despair. Pleasure administered becomes boredom. To master suffering is to risk mistaking numbness for peace. The modern psyche is the orphan of catastrophe. The abandoned child is civilization's allegory. Waiting too long teaches distrust of time. Trauma is duration without continuity. History is the story of X plus Y plus Z minutes too long.